And joining us now on the line is Joe DiGenova, our legal analyst. Joe, good to have you on the show on this Monday morning.
Good morning, everybody. Happy 4th of July.
All right, since you were last with us, the Supreme Court has come down with a whole series of big rulings. I think the one that has caught the most attention has to do with gay marriage and all of that. Just give me, as you look at the whole panoply of decisions, are there any themes that you see developing?
Well, I think the most important thing about the gay marriage decisions is what Justice Kennedy did in his language. This notion, by the way, remember, we've talked about this before, and we've all said that marriage is to be defined by the states, and if one state wants to call a gay marriage or same-sex marriage fine, that's fine, and if another state doesn't want to, that's fine. And federalism, which is states' rights, was part of the opinion that Justice Kennedy wrote. But in the midst of that opinion, he then said some things about equal protection, and he defined the language that was being used to describe gay couples and gay marriages as basically offensive and demeaning. And in the course of doing that, what he did was exactly what Antonin Scalia in his dissent was. He set up a decision to make gay marriage a fundamental right, thus striking down all state laws in the future that do not recognize gay marriage. So what Kennedy did was he didn't want to do a Roe v. Wade and declare gay marriage a fundamental right, but he set the stage for it to happen later. And in that sense, he's done a grave disservice to the court, and he has made it possible that if that is done, if the future court says that gay marriage is a fundamental right, we will have Roe v. Wade all over again. It doesn't matter when it happens, because these are counterintuitive ideas that are so fundamental to the way we organize a society that what will happen in Roe v. Wade in terms of political reaction will happen in this case.
Yeah.
And it will be tumultuous and it will be unfortunate.
You mentioned the dissent by Antonin Scalia. I've read a lot of dissents from Antonin Scalia over the years. I can't remember one that was more to the point or more passionate.
Spectacular dissent. If you like legal writing, and if you like good writing, period, legal or not, Scalia's dissent represents the best of the world. He is no doubt the towering intellect on the court. Certainly from a writing standpoint, he has no equal. And he wrote with passion and superior mind quality. And it is a great piece of writing, and it should be read by people who care about the meaning of the Constitution.
Hey, Joe, I would love to shift your attention to the Zimmerman trial. I'm guessing
what
that
a
you're...
shift.
Isn't it? I know. I'm sorry. But listen, it's in the news, and you are one of our best legal minds, especially from a prosecution standpoint.
Yes.
So I don't know if you've been watching this, but...
it's hard to miss.
So the prosecutors are making their case. Of course, they're trying to pin second-degree murder charges on George Zimmerman. And I want you to listen to the eyewitness testimony of one of the prosecution witnesses here.
The person who you now know to be Trayvon Martin was on top, correct?
Correct.
And he was the one who was raining blows down on the person on the bottom, George Zimmerman, right?
That's what it looked like.
Is it at this point, does the judge turn to the prosecutor and say, seriously, is this all you've got?
The answer is it is all they have, because they don't have a complaining witness. The complaining witness for them is dead, so they're left with observers or near observers or near listeners, like the woman who testified about what she heard on her cell phone, the flat affect witness who was on the witness stand.
Yeah, we didn't play that audio because it's frankly hard to understand what she's saying.
I mean, it is just bizarre, and if you can't understand cursive writing, then that puts you in a sort of a difficult position. But here's the point. The prosecution was given a very bad case. By themselves, they never should have prosecuted this case as second-degree murder. It could have been discharge of a weapon. It could have been manslaughter. It could have been anything but what they charged. Now, if they actually succeed and get a second-degree murder conviction, it will be set aside, because most of these witnesses are saying things that they don't know for sure. The witness's testimony is so unreliable, and so he might even get a verdict of acquittal at the end of the government's case. But the government has to try a case with its witnesses. By the way, remember the chief prosecutor in this case, the woman who called the victim our precious Trayvon at her gigantic news conference? Do you notice how she's disappeared from the face of the earth since this case has gotten older and badder? This clown, chief prosecutor down in Florida, made a mistake of making this a cause célèbre for racial reasons. That's exactly what she did. She made it a case about race, and as a result of it, she has destroyed the prosecution's ability to seek the moral high ground. They now have the moral low ground.
You know, I note with great interest that today Susan Rice becomes the National Security Advisor to the President of the United States. And even though she was a key player in spreading this disinformation about Benghazi, we're still not getting all of the answers about Benghazi. And I know you represent a whistleblower, your partner in life, and your partner in law also represents whistleblowers. Are there new developments in that case?
Well, what's happening is there's been some testimony up on Capitol Hill by some of the military people. We're all familiar with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff statement that there was no stand down, which of course was an absolute lie. There may not have been technically what he called a stand down, but there's what I call a stand still. They were instructed not to leave Tripoli, the special ops people, and go to Benghazi to assist. There's also been some testimony up on the Hill about the availability of special forces who were training in Central Europe, who were less than an hour and a half away, fully armed, fully loaded, full airlift capacity, and full refueling capacity. Our clients have informed Capitol Hill about this in closed-door sessions, and those sessions have also been made public by testimony on the House side. The bottom line is this. Benghazi is not going away. The polling data on IRS, Benghazi, and the other things involving the subpoenas of reporters are polling in the 70% for the American people wanting continued investigation. And it looks to this as if the Speaker of the House and others on the Hill have decided that this stuff is not going to go away and that they're going to pursue it. And, of course, the House has finally issued subpoenas. Darrell Iss's committee has finally issued subpoenas for the production of people and things, which they had tried to avoid, by the way. They didn't want to issue subpoenas. They hoped they could get cooperation from the administration. But as you know, this administration can do one thing very well, stonewall and lie, and they are doing both in abundance.
All right, Joe DiGenova, always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Great to talk to you guys. Happy 4th, everybody.
No, it's Happy Independence Day.
Oh, yes, of course, independence, of course.
You. Don't reduce our independence to something like Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
No,
we're on a mission to make it Independence Day.
I vote aye on independence.
All
Thank
right.
you,
Great
sir.
idea.
All right, that was
glad
easy to convince him of that.